Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Nasreen Rahim, and our presentation today is on equitable solutions through teacher education. And with me, I have my esteemed colleague, Renee Albrecht, and we are both faculty at Evergreen Valley College in San Jose. And our department is the Educational Instructional Technology Department. So with that, I would like my colleague to get started and introduce herself as well. Renee, it's all yours now.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Renee Albrecht. Welcome to our presentation today. Today, we look forward to sharing a little about our journey and how we are working to support equitable solutions through teacher education at Evergreen Valley College. If you have any questions as we're going through our presentation, please feel free to post them in the chat. We'll periodically check it to answer what we can for you. For any questions that we're not able to address today, we will work in following up to make sure that we get an answer for you. So, Evergreen Valley College, I just want to start with a little bit of an overview. What's our mission? With equity, opportunity, and social justice as our guiding principles, Evergreen Valley College's mission is to empower and prepare students from diverse backgrounds to succeed academically and to be civilly responsible global citizens. Evergreen Valley College shares information and strategies for the current and future online teachers to excel in their practice. And that is one of the ways that we are supporting our mission. Evergreen Valley College has been developing a comprehensive online teacher education training program for a number of years. The move to remote instruction due to COVID-19 necessitated the transition from face-to-face or brick and mortar approaches to new pedagogical strategies for teacher education that capitalize on the affordances of technology, which we have captured in our certificate curriculum. We have 7 courses that cover a wide range of online strategies that facilitate the delivery of teacher education activities. It includes the theoretical frameworks that support the adaptation of face-to-face teaching and learning strategies to online platforms, new forms of teacher lesson planning for online teaching, the development of digital resources for teachers that support online teaching and learning, and strategies for teachers as they prepare students for the online learning and assessment. With the landscape of education changing in our post-pandemic time, what essential areas must we focus on to provide opportunities for individuals to obtain employment while adapting to the needs of our current job market? What do teachers need to know today to get a teaching job? How can we offer equitable solutions in educating teachers to provide students with a high probability of success? How can we model equity and integrate it into our curriculum? And how can we provide opportunities to improve online instruction skill sets to allow individuals to be competitive in the field? One of the ways that we address that is creating instructionally sound courses as a foundation for teaching and learning. With that introduction, I am now going to turn it over to Dr. Rahim.
Thank you, Renee. I just had the dump truck come behind me, so I quickly had to mute. So now it's gone. So yes, I'm going to talk about the comprehensive program, just touch on all the courses that we are providing. And we divided into 3 tiers. And the first one, it deals with the pedagogy andragogy of online. And the courses involved there are Edit 10 that we start with is computers and digital media and education, where teachers will learn how to effectively implement instructional technology into an educational environment. Then we have Edit 15, which is online course design and teaching practice. And this course introduces you to the teachers to the regulations and practices, the heart and of the differences, and setting the the teachers and their students on a path to online classes, successful online classes. And then Edit 22 is online course development. This course teaches the skills and knowledge necessary to create effective online learning environments using course management system. So the course management system that we are, more adapted to right now is Canvas, but this applies to any course management system. And then the second tier we have is on the regulation and legal compliance, which brings in Edit 23, which is creating accessible course content. And this course provides an overview of accessibility within online courses, focusing on the skills needed to make your course both technically accessible and usable to a broad range of students. And we all know that accessibility is law. So this course really is very impactful. And then comes the Edit 25, which is copyright and creativity in digital learning. So this course is designed for educators to understand copyright and fair use concepts and how to manage copyrights by exploring various areas of copyright law. And the third tier is student support, and that brings in Edit 26, which is women in STEM, where teachers learn strategies of women and girls to overcome the societal and cultural barriers in STEM education, which is science, technology, engineering, and math in the career, and focus on narrowing the gender gap in STEM. And then we have finally the Edit 27. It's adopting and integrating open education resources, OER. So this course is designed to demonstrate how to find, adapt, and use OER, which directly impact equity by filling out the uneven gap. So the next slide, Renee. From here on, we go into the pedagogy and andragogy, which is the heart of this online certificate. It includes the theoretical framework that supports all forms of teaching and learning. So we have closing the digital gap through integrating educational technology into curriculum, and that brings in Edit 10 that I talked about, online computers and digital media in education, which basically traditionally the digital divide in education referred to schools and communities in which access to device and internet connectivity were either unavailable or unaffordable. Although there is still much work to be done, but great progress has been made in this area due to the COVID pandemic to provide high-speed wireless access and devices in many places. And this course made teachers cognizant of the digital divide, that some areas, some places, students have no access. So, and then also getting to know what is meant by the high-speed internet, while all of those nitty-gritty that they get to understand, and they become aware of the thoughtful intervention and attention to the way technology is used for learning, adopt inclusive teaching pedagogy and methods so that they can use the kind of teaching pedagogy and method that fits into the accessibility of the technology that is available. And so that is how, they learn to close the digital divide. And then we have Edit 22, which is design and develop and manage online course. That also is another part of the closing the digital divide. It aims to reduce the barriers that faculty often face when implementing inclusive teaching practices and encourage faculty to take their first step towards inclusive teaching. Inclusive teaching, bringing in all the pedagogy and the technology to go side by side. So teacher education here is essential to keep up to date with the new developments in theory and practice, such as the OEI rubric standard. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the online education initiative that is the state of the state chancellor's office's grant that, and so our college has adopted and is a part of the consortium, and so we align with the online education in the rubric so this this has really helped us during the COVID-19 pandemic, as educators had to shift quickly to remote instruction. And we were able to teach through this rubric to create quality online courses in such short time. And this is a continuing process in our college, and it's been established. So this course focuses on innovative approaches for educators in both K through 12 and higher education settings to create effective online learning environment using the learning management system. The next slide, Renee. The next slide. Okay, so we talk about multiple teaching modalities. That also part of the equity that we look at is transitioning to various online teaching modalities to allow access for all. So, students now, we can see, I know it's a heated topic in our college, because Evergreen Valley College, because we are all faculty have been asked to go back to teach face-to-face. And so there is, so that's where, and then what is happening is many students are dropping out, not wanting to come to the face-to-face. So they prefer the online modality, be it synchronous or asynchronous. So we want to prepare our faculty for all modalities to make our students be successful. So to meet the needs of our student. So in this current crisis, both teachers and students feel isolated. So we've been kept apart much too long. We need to see one another somehow to affirm our value and restore our faith in one another. But we are still stuck at the tail end of the global pandemic. So what can we do about what's wrong, and how can we fix it through synchronous and asynchronous learning modalities? So this is where Edit 15 comes in. So that's how you can see that we can, through these courses, disaster management can be pandemic, it could be fire, it could be earthquake. So all kind of situation can be handled. Next slide, Renee. So now I will have my esteemed colleague Renee talk about regulation and legal compliance.
So, the fun part of online teaching is developing your courses and designing your courses and sharing them with your students and, getting that human touch. One of the things that we also recognize that is important, however, is making sure that we follow all the regulations and the legal compliance. The abrupt transition to remote teaching and learning caused by the pandemic has amplified concerns about the digital divide. It helps raise awareness of the gaps in student success that may be exacerbated by socioeconomic inequities. While online teaching may be convenient for some students, others risk being left behind if issues not related to access and online course design are not addressed. So that's really our focus. Make sure that not only are we helping you understand regulation and legal compliance, but we are integrating it into everything that we do so that it just becomes second nature. Learning experience enabled by technology should be accessible for all learners, including those with special needs. Supports to make learning accessible should be built into the learning software and hardware by default, but it's not always done. So as teachers, as educators, we also need to be able to recognize when it's not. The approach of including accessibility features from the beginning of development process, also known as universal design or UDL, is a concept well established in education. Modern public buildings include features such as ramps, automatic doors, braille and signs to make them accessible by everyone. In the same way, Features such as text to speech, speech to text, enlarged font sizes, color contrast, dictionaries, and glossaries should be built into educational hardware and processes and software to make this learning accessible to everyone. One thing that I would just like to mention as well is accessibility is great for everyone, for all learners. It provides very often a differentiated way to consume content. I can hear it, I can see it, I can read it, you know, lots of different ways. So accessibility is not only something that we need to make sure that we comply with because of the laws and the regulation, but it's also good. That it's good pedagogy. So we have a course, it's called Edit 23, it's accessibility. The course addresses the theme of inequities with regard to technology, access, accessible design, and mental health in the era of online education. We've learned a number of key lessons. First, social isolation and other consequences can negatively influence emotional and mental health of both teachers and students, especially, you know, in this, the pandemic, the COVID situation. Additionally, as education transitions from face-to-face to remote settings, many support services for accessibility issues are either unavailable, difficult to obtain, or reduced in capacity. As a result, it's important for educators to pay close attention to digital and other equity issues, emotional and mental health issues, and accessibility issues. It's also critical for educators to inform solutions to resolving equity, accessibility, and emotional mental health. So on the other side, now we have our legal compliance. This is things that we need to do to make sure that we are following the law. So as I spoke to before, Edit 23, we address accessibility from we want to meet the student's needs. We also address accessibility as legal compliance. You learn about the relevant legal topics to help you ensure you're meeting the accessibility requirements. The course walks you through how to create and publish different types of documents and content, as well as strategies and tools to review existing content to ensure that what you're bringing in meets the accessibility requirements. And then another course that we have that addresses legal compliance is called Edit 25. And Edit 25 is copyright and creativity. So this course walks you through the relevant copyright laws and best practices. You learn how to apply copyright and fair use standards to ensure that the content that you include in your course meets these legal requirements. I am now going to turn it back over to Nazreen to talk about student support and inclusion topics. Nazreen, are you able to?
I'm
Oh,
so
there you go.
sorry, I muted myself. So we talk about equity, equity, equity. So there you go, supporting the student and being inclusive. So we have a course that is Edit 26, Women in STEM, and that's where is equity and gender comes in. So this course, you know, teaches how the gender gap, closing of the gender gap, discuss these STEM fields are, talks about or familiarizes the teachers about the STEM fields that are for girls and boys at the same rate. And they explore gender approaches to learning and the different learning styles, and establishes awareness of resources that are available for teachers and parents to support girls in STEM, and explores the obstacles that girls and women face in the pursuit of not just the education, but also in the career in STEM. So that's one that is one of our quite a popular course, and in gender in women in STEM or gender in STEM. Renee, the next slide. Thank you. Then we have, last but not the least, is the open education resources, that adopting and integrating open education resources, edit 27. Here, teachers develop better workflows and streamline the process of integrating open education resources into the courses. They learn to review OER, open education resources, the training materials from various institutions, identify useful content from those materials to remix, revise, and redistribute in their courses. And the entire certificate, the 19-unit course that we are talking about, is all open education and ZTC, zero text cost. There's no text cost here. So you can see that we are totally maintaining the equity part. And so in fact, through this course, all that affordability, flexibility, customizing. So through this course, it was offered last semester, and it so happened that the faculty got so involved that we are creating a culture of OER through a team that we have formed this winter break, and we are going all out during the spring to promote open education resources. The president of our college is giving us all the support and is our guide right now to establish a culture of open education, offering faculty stipend and the support that to sustain them, not just, so we are like 5-member team, and we will be reviewing from small, medium to large proposals, and then gradually. So this is how we are going to be building gradually, and through the OER infrastructure, OER resources, and OER culture, so that you can see that how we are fulfilling the equity part through these courses as well. And
Nazreen, I'm gonna jump in
sure.
and brag about you. So Nazreen has really started to develop a culture. People are going to write their own OER to share for the students and the courses. So it's really an exciting time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Renee. I'm so excited that Renee and I are also planning to be a part of it in creating our own, one of our courses textbook. That's what our plan is to do. So, and so that's, these are the courses that we have, the 19 units, the 7 courses, and giving you the background on how we started and where we are going and where we have already gone. So Renee, in the next slide, I'm going to show you guys that we are a consortium of the CVC OEI, that is California Virtual Campus Online Education Initiative, and establishing quality and the accessibility and the quality standard that we have to maintain. And so that is how we started building our certificate. And our certificate, this is the certificate of achievement, is fully online, and it has been approved. It is a quality online certificate program. All the courses have gone through the quality assessment and the accessibility standard. And Renee is a huge contributor in helping faculty and the courses with the accessibility as well as the quality. We are both certified peer online course reviewers. So we review and approve courses and send them to the state, to the OEI rubric, that is to the CVC OEI, which is state funded, and it is the chancellor's. It is with the chancellor's, California State Community College Chancellor's Office. So, and this course is featured in their website, in the California Community College Consortium certificate program as a certificate of achievement. So anyone, any community college can go either through the consortium to, if your college is a home college or teaching college, you can register through them, or you can register directly through our college, those who are interested in pursuing this certificate. So I just wanted to, if I could just, Renee, if you could click on the course, the second link. I guess the second link will give an idea of where does it link. Okay, that's okay. Anyway, we have this presentation. Oh, there it is. So this is the California Community Colleges virtual, and it is, our course is listed under education. So if you scroll down a little more, Renee, then under the education, yeah. So there is our course, online teaching and educational technology. So this is in there in California community, in CVC on OER. So all colleges that are part of the consortium, students from there, faculty from there can register for this certificate through here. Or you can, we are going to show you how you can get it through our own college. So the next slide, Renee. So here we have, the information for registration, who to get help for. We have our website here, and then we have our counselors. If you follow the pathways of this certificate, these are our counselors who can help you, and then admission and record. So all of these, and then you have my email here, nasreen.rahim@abc.edu, and you can directly connect with me. And if you, I was trying to get upload it, but I could not upload it in the chat. But
I don't have the the capabilities here to do it.
So if you can, you have my email here, and if you want to give us your email in the chat, we can definitely send you the presentation and more information. We also have a brochure that we were hoping to upload it in the chat, so that also we can provide you. Classes starts on Monday, but some of the classes most of the classes are late start, so we don't start our edit classes except for 2 of them. The rest are all start from February 22nd. So with that, I would like to take as your questions, and anything you want to know. Both Renee and I are here. We did it in good time. We do have almost like half an hour for any question.
And if you think of a question later, you can also drop us an email, or drop Nazarene an email, and we can definitely get back. If you put your email in the chat, I will collect it and we'll send you all of the information that we have.
So there's a question from Anna. Yes, Anna, that's a fantastic question. Yes, we won't be, the way we'll be expanding, there's only one or two additional course that we're looking at. And one of them is, we just submitted one course, which is on introduction to the synchronous online teaching, which is live teaching. So that will be a 1-unit course that we because of the current situation, and we have looked into, because what we are, the online teaching and learning traditionally or all along has been the asynchronous and asynchronous hybrid. But we have not, now with the pandemic, there are so many other modalities. I did touch briefly on the modalities, but we are looking at opening up all the other training for courses for that. So that is one of the course, and then in the near future also another course with the mobile technologies, even though it is integrated in the other courses, but we would like to have just another course dedicated to that. So thank you. Yes, and we certainly will keep you posted on that one unit course. That can be also taken in silo if you are interested. You can take these courses in silo, or if you're interested in the entire certificate, you can go through the pathways and complete the certificate. Does that answer your question? Anyone else? I know Lisa joined us. Hi, Lisa. We spoke to Monica. And which college are you from, Lisa?
Sorry.
No. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're so excited you're here.
I am with full-time faculty with Foothill College, and I am the director of clinical education for the respiratory therapy program.
Wow.
There.
Okay.
I've been with Foothill for about 4 years, but last year we really, there was a big push with Foothill with the equity programs. And interesting enough, you're talking about online, and with the pandemic, I teach respiratory therapy. So the pandemic really forced us to rethink a lot of our pedagogy, because part of our classes went online, and then we still had to have some face-to-face classes. And it was really, how do we adapt to online our courses, because respiratory therapy requires a lot of hands-on. So it was very, very interesting, very, very challenging. But we survived. We were able to put up a program that was approved by the county to do face-to-face during the pandemic, a proposal to do face-to-face, which was approved of. The equity part comes in for me because the Foothill did a study, and they looked at terms of access among our underserved. We were equal to the campus. We were equal to the campus. But when it came to looking at success rate, and there was another one that they looked at, but looking at success rate among our African-American students and our Latinx students, when compared to the Foothill campus overall, we had a 30% higher success rate. And so we were approached to ask, why do we think that is, compared to the overall campus? So it really got me going and interested in thinking about that. Why were we so successful? And we were looking at our model of teaching, which is essentially a cohort model. And I think that really is what made us successful. But then again, when the pandemic hit, it was like, how do you kind of still have that, cohort model that was so successful when we were face-to-face, versus now we're online, and then having to deal with those barriers of online teaching, how do we continue to connect with our students? How do we continue to provide the environment that's belonging, that they belong to, which what the cohort model is like. Once you belong to community, everybody starts the same, they finish the same. So it was really, there were a lot of challenges in that. And so I'm really interested in the equity, you know, how do we maintain the equity? How can we, you know, what aspects do we need to look at and focus on to make sure that we're providing that equity environment in our program?
Thank you so much for sharing this.